Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video we're talking about Nintendo Switch, Nintendo 3DS, gaming handhelds, and more. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off here talking about Nintendo Switch emulation on PC with Yuzu, and Yuzu just released their progress report. I'll drop a link to it in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. It's very well written, and we're just going over it at a high level here. The first thing listed is a massive improvement to Persona 5 Royal. Persona 5 Royal for the Switch just came out, and this was the before using Vulkan. And well, this is the after, looking a heck of a lot better. Now there is still some work to be done, but this is a pretty darn good improvement. On top of that, we've covered this one in previous videos, but Bayonetta 3 is now listed as playable for Vulkan. This is the before, and well, this is the after. Now if you're using the NVIDIA exclusive GLASM backend, Super Mario Sunshine and Galaxy have been fixed. This is the before, and you can see that Mario doesn't have a body. Well, there's after, and Mario's got a body. Grainy textures in Monster Hunter Rise are now fixed. Rendering issues in Luigi's Mansion, Triangle Strategy, and Space World have been fixed. This is the before in Luigi's Mansion, and that's the after. Here's the before on Triangle Strategy, and here is the after. And here's the before on Space World, and well, there's the after. The Yuzu team has confirmed that Yuzu is faster on Linux, and if you're using Yuzu on Linux, the CPU usage has been lowered. Oh, and No Man's Sky is now booting. Now as for Amiibo, Yuzu also got a little bit better and makes it easier to use them. If you haven't dumped your Amiibo keys, in some cases you don't need to anymore. Yuzu is currently in the process of reworking their entire compatibility report, so in new versions of Yuzu, the compatibility list is disabled by default. If you wanted to enable it, you can, but it might be inaccurate. Just go into Yuzu configuration in the general tab, and under the UI section you should be able to find it. In addition to all of that, there were some accuracy improvements, some audio improvements, and some controller improvements. If you wanted to read the entire list, check out the changelog in the description below. Yuzu has crushed it this month, and they're continuing to push forward and make Switch emulation on PC even better. And speaking about crushing it, next up here we're still talking about Switch emulation, but switching over to Android with Skyline. And Skyline's got yet another update. If you're a supporter of Skyline, Skyline Edge version 9 has just dropped with version 10 soon around the corner. There's a performance boost in Super Mario Odyssey and a performance boost across the board. Oddworld Stranger Wrath appears to be sitting around 60 frames per second. I'm certain this is going to get a few people excited. WWE 2K18 gets into game. There are some rendering issues and the frame rate is a little bit slow here, but at the same time this is progress. Someone's got Pokemon Sword up and running, hovering around 20 frames per second with just above 20 frames per second in certain places. Chocobo Mystery Dungeon is at 60 frames per second, but I'm not certain if it's playable from beginning to end, but it is looking good. Now it is worth pointing out that while Skyline is still free and open source, Skyline Edge is essentially the paid testing version of Skyline. It takes about 2 weeks, give or take, sometimes less, to push those Skyline Edge changes over to the mainline build, so if you don't see them there yet, be patient. In fact, if you head on over to skyline-emu.1 and click on download, the latest build of Skyline is today. This is not Skyline Edge version 9, but it does contain some Skyline Edge changes, so you might want to check it out and see how it runs for you. Next up, we're talking about something a little bit different and a lot less common, NGPGBA, which is Neo Geo Pocket on the Game Boy Advance. Version 0.5.5 of NGPGBA has just dropped, and if you wanted to check it out, I'll leave a link in the description below. It's free and it's open source. In version 0.5.5, we've got some fixes, some optimizations, a speed hack for Big Bang Pro Wrestling, and more games should work without a BIOS file. Moving right along here and keeping the good times rolling, we're talking about Nintendo 3DS emulation on PC and Android with Mikage. And we've got a very good update. The official Mikage YouTube channel has just dropped a brand new video showcasing audio support for VVV on the 3DS. And interestingly enough, the video description says this is a small preview of a lightweight game running at full speed despite the additional overhead audio emulation incurs. Further optimization work is ongoing to ensure great performance while still offering better compatibility than Citra's audio emulation. Shots fired. And also, we're going to be seeing more stuff on November 8th, so just in a couple days. Next up, we're talking about a gaming handheld, the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus. We talked about this one in a previous video, but I didn't have the pricing or the specs, and well, I do now. I've got a feeling that some people are going to be excited about this news and others possibly not so much. If you just picked up a Retroid Pocket 3, you're probably not going to like what I'm about to say, but the 3 Plus on paper completely blows the 3 out of the water. If we take a look at the CPU on the 3 Plus, it's a Unisoc T618. That's an 8-core CPU versus the 4-core T310 on the Retroid Pocket 3. It's got a better GPU. In terms of RAM, instead of 2 or 3 gigs, we've got 4 gigs. And instead of 32 gigs of onboard storage, we've got 128 on the 3 Plus. And while the 3 Plus is going to be a little bit more expensive, it's coming in at $149 overall. It's only $20 to $30 more expensive than the Retroid Pocket 3, and I think that might be well worth it based on the specs alone. Now, I do have a Retroid Pocket 2 Plus. I didn't buy the 3 because I didn't really see a need to, but the 3 Plus is a big upgrade over the 2 Plus. And to be honest with you here, I don't really see why they released the 3 in the first place if they were just going to announce and release the 3 Plus very shortly after. The Retroid Pocket 3 only came out a couple of months ago, and it's already kind of irrelevant. Next up though, what's not irrelevant is ArkOS, and ArkOS just got a brand new update. In version 2.0 of ArkOS, we've got some fixes and some additions, so they've updated some Bluetooth things, including the configuration menu to support turning Bluetooth on and off. And they've also added Fake 08, the Libretto core. Fake 08 is for the Pico 8. They fixed RetroArch and RetroArch 32 core menus crashing when called during game sessions. ArkOS is free, it's open source, and if you've got an Anbernic device, you might want to check to see if ArkOS is compatible with it. It's a complete game changer for the device. I'll leave a link to the GitHub in the description below in the event that you do want to check it out. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. Let me know your thoughts about anything we talked about today in the comments below, and we did talk about quite a bit. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos, don't tempt fate, save your state.